Welcome to EFT MBA Mastering Business Acumen with the help of EFT business experts. Learn the marketing, mindset, and skill set you need to create the EFT coaching practice of your dreams. Visit www.eftmba.com for more information. And now, here's the EFT training team that embodies the art and science of EFT. Alina Frank and Dr. Craig Weiner.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We are back with some really juicy information for you on what causes you to kind of, put the brakes on, the gas pedal and the brakes at the same time. Have you ever been there? So today we're covering blocks, resistance, subconscious saboteurs, and how all of that derails your EFT practice. And I am your co-host, Alina Frank. I'm here with my partner. Hey, Craig.
Hey, good to be here. This is a great subject. I love saboteurs. Well,
you
not
do?
really. I love exploring them because we're flushing them out, aren't we? The subconscious saboteurs that even though we don't want them, even though they're messing with our life, even though they're doing those things, if we don't know who they are, then we can't do anything about them. Right?
Yeah,
for
sure.
So that idea of being an investigator, detective, and finding out what they are. You know, when we did this, I wanted to look at, we used the word saboteur, and I thought, you know what, it's always fun to get a perspective of defining what it is we're talking about. And I love this one. A saboteur is somebody who destroys or ruins. It has the quality of being clandestine, of having clandestine or subversive motives. Because, we all want love, success, joy, happiness, health, and well-being. Who doesn't want those things? So why would there be some part of us that puts the brake on that, right? Doesn't make sense to our conscious mind, and yet I don't think there's anybody out there that hasn't had an experience of having a self-saboteuring experience, right?
Right, for sure. We're going to get into, what are the signs, because if these are truly subconscious, then you may think, well, what are they? How do I know that it's really happening to me? So we're going to get into how this shows up. We want you to stick around till the end of the call where we're going to actually do some tapping. And if you missed our first show, we shared with you global or universal aspects of some blocks and how they show up as the morphic field and your connection to the morphic field and how that negatively impacts your EFT business. So today we're getting more personal. So let's talk about how some of these ways, some of the ways that they show up, and that the signs that you've got this clandestine saboteur at work. How about the experience of when you set a goal for yourself to make a certain amount of money in your practice, and you make it, but then you have unexpected bills. Just like you make this wonderful $25,000 product. It just launches. It's going really great, and things are awesome. You make let's say $2,500 in the first month of your launch, and then your car breaks.
The car totally tanks. Out of nowhere, this well-running car all of a sudden starts making these noises, stops, lights go on, and guess what? It's going to cost how much to fix the car?
$2,500.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Who could have planned that?
Yeah, no kidding. I'm pulling these stories out from my client case studies, so it is bizarre, but very definitely true that these things happen with that much synchronicity, spooky stuff. And so it also can be that you make the amount of money that you want to be making and have nothing to show for it but pretty baubles. And there's nothing wrong with pretty baubles, but if you want to buy a house next year, or you want to have zero in debt, then you want to think about what's going on. And we have a live workshop called the Money Mindfulness Mastery Program. It's a 2-day workshop where we really talk about the money archetypes and how you've got to heal some of the issues that you have around money in order to be truly successful, because you could be making $500,000 a year, but if you're in debt double that amount, then what's the point of making all that money?
And the hard one. I was just going to say, and the hard one with that is that we want to be able to give to ourselves, right? I mean, we want. We don't necessarily look at ourselves as materialistic, but we really needed. My iPhone was dying, and I needed a better model. I really, we look at them as realistic, and I'm gifting to myself, I'm being good to myself, but suddenly I realize that there's layers of stress from I might have been being good to myself, but I haven't been doing any strategic planning, and now I can't really take that course I want to take or whatever. So, it's not just, you use the word baubles, and that feels rather superficial, but we all make the decisions we want for ourselves on our purchases without often a lot of overall planning, and with those saboteurs at work saying, maybe you really don't deserve to be able to have that really important thing. So there's a lot of layers to that.
Yeah. Another sign that you've got this saboteur going on is that you tell yourself that, okay, this is my week. I've got a couple hours and I'm going to write this fabulous blog article, or I'm going to get my business listing done and some networking online place, and then the week goes by and you haven't done it. Or the term is procrastinate. That's an obvious.
And that shows up just not where that shows up is not even like the shoulds, like I'm going to get that done, but it even comes in things you love to do, things you enjoy doing, but the saboteur somehow snaps it away or cancels it, or all of a sudden something else comes in to fill that gap of time. And it's like, what happened? I really had this time planned for myself. I was enjoying, I was going to go away, I was going to take care of this, I was going to get that written, get that done because I've been wanting to, and boom, the time is just gone, and all of a sudden somehow I'm sitting there empty-handed, right?
Right. Yep. Another sign that a saboteur is going on is that you say yes to opportunities. Let's say that it's a joint venture with a friend who has, let's say, a yoga studio where her clients are your perfect niche market. Let's say that you're specializing in people that are on a spiritual path and you're using EFT to facilitate that spiritual path. And these people are all wonderful yoginis, and you really want to help them. And this person who owns this yoga studio, your friend, calls you up. They want you to speak about your work, or you get an invitation out of the blue to speak at a conference, and then you get a cold the night before, or a migraine headache.
A sore throat and laryngitis the day before the conference presentation. Yeah. Before the workshop or retreat or whatever, and it's like, where did that come from? Sure, that's a perfect example.
The other thing that can happen is that you procrastinate so much that your joint venture partner changes his or her mind about working with you. They may or may not tell you why all of a sudden they're pulling out of the business relationship, right?
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
But it's a good example of how these saboteurs start showing up, because outwardly and consciously, are you kidding? We dream for these opportunities. We're like out there looking for them, trying to create them, and then one shows up to us easily, and all of a sudden it gets snatched away. Perfect example.
Right.
I mean, we work so hard often as practitioners to achieve things and create projects and create, those golden opportunities. And sometimes we work so hard that then we suddenly just burn out, and burnout shows up as exhaustion, as getting sick, as circumstances that all of a sudden are pulling the rug out from under us. Those are all good examples.
Mm-hmm. One subtle sign that this could be happening, which just might not be on your radar, is just the feeling of struggling when it comes to making money. And we know that money and business opportunities come when what? You're in the flow, you're feeling relaxed, you believe that all things good are on the way, you have this sense of expectation. And when you're struggling, there's something about that smacks of a subconscious saboteur.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So subconscious blocks come in different categories. And for those of you that have done EFT training, if you've gone to workshops and maybe you've gone through the whole process of getting certified at EFT Universe, Clinical EFT, we had this whole discussion about secondary gains. And so secondary gains / psychological reversals you learned in your EFT training are the different categories, same categories as you learn for secondary gains. This applies to the subconscious saboteurs in your business as well. So let's go over that. And again, and I also wanted to share that we are live, and if you want to call in, if you want to share one of your experiences and try and have us have a hand at trying to figure out what that is for you, our number is 347-215-6833, and you can push 1 to get in the queue, and I'll see that your hand is up, and I can put you on live. Otherwise, you can chat in the chat room and give us a question there, and I'll be monitoring that throughout the call. But stick around to the end because we are going to do some real live tapping to help you out as well. So, Craig, let's go on to the subconscious blocks. They come in different categories. What are those categories? Mm-hmm. So, one of the big ones. Yeah.
Fear of change.
Yeah?
Man,
what do you mean?
Yeah. Fear of change is, we know what we know. And as much as we say that we want something different, something greater, something bigger, there is a part of us that doesn't know what the expectations are going to be like, how much work it's going to be, what people are going to expect from us, what we're going to have to look like, and what people are going to think about us. The fear of change is huge, mm-hmm. and what is it going to look like when it's different? If I make a lot of money, $100,000 a year, all of a sudden I'm going to need to change where I live maybe, and I might have to change how I dress and how I appear. I might have a certain status or I don't, or, that all depends on your own thought process. Maybe I have to change my knowledge about money because now I have to learn about investing, and now I have to learn about...
Yeah, that's a huge one. Yeah, that's a huge one. I have come up with worked with a lot of coaches that have that fear. I've struggled with money my whole entire life. Now I've got a bunch of money. What do I do with it? It feels scarier to have it and try to learn things about investing and how
about taxes. How do I reduce my tax load? And that's just I'm not good at that. And it's like part of me, as much as I say I want to earn a lot more money, there's that clandestine part underneath is scared to death about what happens if it really happens and what it means and what I'll have to learn and what I'll be responsible for. And, there's a lot underneath the rug.
Yeah. Yeah, I was working with an EFT coach recently on her issues around success, and we were working on something that was seemingly, unrelated to what came out. In the middle of a round, she gets a real intense emotional charge and starts to cry, and then barely gets out the words, "Oh my God, if I become successful, in order to become successful, I need to leave my husband." So that's a perfect one. Like that you may feel on some level that everything has to change. You're going to have to look around and see what's not working in your life that you've got to shore up, some boundaries, that kind of thing. And so fears will come up. Fear of change is one of those that really everyone's got either small amount or a large degree of that going on in order to prevent them from really succeeding and going to the next level in their business.
Yep. No, very true.
So what do you do about these fears? You're gonna tap on them. Identify those changes by tapping on. You could even start, if you don't know, even though I'm afraid things are going to change when I'm making lots of money. And even just that global tapping round will tune you in. Tapping not only clears things, it tunes you in closer to why that fear, that resistance is really there. For me, personally, one of the fears that I had when I was really bumping up my practice from part-time to full-time was the fear of changing my role as seeing myself as, a full-time mother, and what those changes that would have to take place. And the reason why it was there, beliefs don't just pop out of the sky. They just don't. You have personal experience of this, and that's why they're there. And your job, just like with an EFT session with a client. You're looking for those specific events of why that's there. Well, the reason for me turned out to be memories of being left in daycare when I was a little girl, and had nothing at all to do with the reality of the situation, which was when I wanted to double my EFT practice, my kids were well beyond the age of where they could go to daycare anyway. So most of these fears are really unfounded, illogical, but they're there, and they really are working as subconscious saboteurs to really kind of gunk up the system.
Yeah. Oh, very good.
Okay, what about
next? Let's go into the next one. Fear of success.
Right. Yeah.
That's very close because we actually addressed that because that's one kind of change, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the success part we were just talking about. But change can be everything. The fear of success is often having to do with the responsibility of success, of what I'll have to do, and especially of how people are going to see me, how my relatives are going to see me, how my friends are going to see me. Am I going to is everybody going to try to approach me for money and for partnering, and how am I going to do? And you know what? Because when one perceives oneself as successful, everybody has different pictures of what that looks like, right? From the media and everything else. And, success often looks problematic. People that are successful also might look like they're being judged, because that's been our experience of maybe judging others that are successful. So all the different aspects of fear of success, and there are many, is a big one.
Right. No, if definitely, I'm just thinking of someone I work with that had a family dynamic where, the rich people are just really bad. They're all going to hell. And that she got from growing up in a family that was very judgmental because they were broke. Or another client that had, a wing of her family that was very, very, very well off, but her family wasn't part of that group, and they saw all the chaos and the infighting and all the things that went on with inheritances and trusts, and so she got the idea that it's not okay, that success means really being a jerk. Okay, so we got fear of success, and right after that we got fear of failure. Why even bother if I'm going to fail anyway? Right? You haven't even gotten out of the gate, and you're telling yourself, I'm going to fail at this anyway, so why bother, right? That is definitely a subconscious saboteur.
Yeah, that part that really does not want to feel one more time I'm going to put my heart and soul and effort and energy and money into it, and the last 3 times that I've tried doing that, in my history, they've all failed. And even though I'm a different person now, and even though I'm geared up for it, and even though I have new skills I have in my past, in my baggage, these experiences of what happens, big ones, of what happens when I've tried to try something new and put myself out there and failed. And those are lying underneath, just waiting to just nibble at your feet and pull you down. It's a huge one.
Yeah, making that transition from being sort of a hobbyist EFT coach, meaning like you're working with your friends and your family and all that, to making it into a business. This is when I see this come up the most with some of my clients, and many of them have had big failures and small failures being entrepreneurs, and being an EFT coach requires you to be an entrepreneur. And so many of them have we've all been there, right? We tried to sell some kind of network marketing, multi-level marketing thing, or selling cookies door to door when we were Girl Scouts. All of those things are there waiting for you to really flush them out and tap on the times that you tried to succeed in some kind of business venture and you failed. I worked on someone that, went back to a paper route where there was one person on his paper route where they just refused to pay him, and so he had to, and he felt so bad, and there was something about that his family knew that person, so he would take the money that he made from all the rest of the paper route to pay for this neighbor's papers that he wasn't buying because he didn't want to really stir up any problems. But the result was he was afraid that I'm going to make money and then I'm just going to have to put it back in, and that was a big thing around fear of failure. where this event really caused that to be there for my client.
Yeah.
Another one is loss of identity, right? Who will be affected if I succeed? Will everyone be thrilled for me? I worked with an EFT coach on this block, and we discovered that she always provides her entire family. I'm not just talking her kids. I mean, like, aunts and grandmother and anyone in her family that wants anything. She feels that she's got to be the one providing for it. And she had subconsciously prevented herself from making a lot more money because she was afraid to lose it, or to have to lose the identity of I'm the one who cares enough to always provide everyone with what they need, right?
Right. No, that's important. And identity, that's that part that we don't often fully realize is that piece of who am I? Right, and the roles that I play, and if I change this, whether it's a role as a parent, as a business person, as a support person, as all the different roles hats that we have in a family dynamic especially, when that suddenly changes, when we become, when that person, especially if it's a woman that suddenly becomes the main breadwinner in a relationship, and that whole dynamic changes between spouses, for example, that's huge. And so there's a lot of subconscious fears that is comfortable with it staying the same.
Right, for sure. The next one is pretty big, which is safety.
Right.
I don't feel safe putting myself out there.
Right. Because?
Well, how about standing in front of a group of people talking about this woo-woo crazy stuff? How will I be perceived? I will be judged. People will attack me. It's again, this is just these things are illogical, but they are there, and so safety can be. What's really funny about this one is, I've worked with people that haven't done a presentation, or they haven't really ventured far afield from, they're making the transition from working with friends and family mostly to working with clients. And when we bring up these fears, they're so like from 0 to 1,000. It's just like it is really funny how it shows up as being extreme and exaggerated. Like paparazzi's gonna follow me around, that kind of stuff.
Right.
When you haven't even made the first step into public light, and there are many successful EFT practitioners that no one's ever heard of them or their name. It's just so that's not true. That you have to be out there in a certain way, and be on every social media site and always be engaged and have your own TV show in order to be successful. That's just not true.
Yeah, but what you were saying about the fear too is really important, because when we're coaching people, like with the MBA program, everybody has different professional backgrounds. So like I'm a chiropractor, and if all of a sudden I'm going to be going to a place that's a mixed crowd, right? It's one thing if it's a bookstore, like we were just up at Banyan Books, and it's a general crowd audience. I have certain perceptions about who I think they are, accurate or inaccurate. But all of a sudden, if I know that there is a neurobiology professor in the audience, or all of a sudden there's other chiropractors, I all of a sudden notice my level of safety being influenced by my perception of their perception of what I'm saying and how I'm saying it. And so that safety level, if I know that I'm going to go into an audience and I don't know who's going to be there, or it's going to be mixed, all of a sudden I'm feeling a little bit of that sympathetic fight or flight response going on, and that can bring up those saboteurs. Yeah?
For sure.
Right.
Let's go over the rest of these quickly, and then let's just jump into some tapping here to really flesh these out for everyone personally. So, fear of incompetence. This is a big one for people that are wanting to do some online marketing, and there are a lot of people out there that are talking about the law of attraction and saying if it doesn't feel good, don't do it. Do what only feels good. Well, why don't you tell that to a heroin addict? That's an exaggeration, but what do you get my gist? If it feels bad for you to do and it's something that initially is a bit exciting to you, it's that you have the fear response going on. It doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. It means you should get over your block. It means getting over your resistance. It means doing some tapping on those fears. Am I making sense, Craig?
Yep. Nope, absolutely.
Okay. Another one is deserving. Do you deserve to make the kind of money you want to make? And if you're like, yes, I really, really am. I just feel like I am deserving of so much, everything that I possibly want, then great. But I have to tell you, this shows up for a lot of my EFT coaches who are trying to figure out what's going on, why aren't they making more money. And the last one here is the fear of being overwhelmed. Again, these are tappable issues. Know that they're going on. And if you have some of the signs that we talked about at the beginning of the show, if any of those things are appearing, then know for sure. Procrastination is a big one for fear of overwhelm, by the way.
Yeah, that overwhelm. You know what? That's so important because if all of a sudden I have a event that I'm putting on and 100 people show up instead of 12, the amount of work that's going to involve with follow-up and then that is just, it's actually way easier for me to, be quite happy if 10 or 15 people show up.
Exactly.
Right? That's huge. That's a big one.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So
let's do some tapping.
Let's do some tapping. And before we get into some tapping, I just want to put a plug in for our call tonight. We have an amazing call tonight.
Right.
The 3 top marketing trends that EFT coaches should master. And that is at 5 p.m. Pacific. If you want to check that out, you need to sign up for that, and that is EFTMBA.com. And there you can also check out our 6-month program, which we're just really tickled pink that it's happening. It's just the culmination of all of our work together in the last 3 years, and it's just going to be so rocking. And that starts in the middle of October.
What's MBA stand for? Is that Anders and Nancy or Mary? What is that?
Mastering Business Acumen. So it's all about the mindset and the skill set, getting clear, doing the tapping that's necessary to succeed, but also getting the rock-solid information that many people lack because they just haven't had their own businesses. So all of that is included in the MBA program. We invite you to check that out. So let's do some tapping. Okay.
Great.
So, Craig, we're going to just tap on any of the points. Doesn't matter because, again, back to what I said earlier, tapping tunes you in. Tapping tunes you in closer to the problem. And so if you hear one of these and all your body starts to say, ding, 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 reject, no, that's no good, that's not landing, then you need to write that down and explore why that's there. And the reason why it's there are specific events. Yes?
Yes.
All right, let's tap. All right. When I think about my huge success. I feel gratitude.
I feel
appreciation. I love all the changes that have occurred. Since I'm making so much money. I love trying out new things in my business.
I do.
And I love learning from all the bumps along the way.
And I love learning from all the different bumps along the way.
I love my imperfections. And my challenges. There are opportunities for me to learn and grow.
They are. They're opportunities for me to learn and grow from.
I love being someone new.
I love being somebody new, a new person.
Being someone successful.
I love being somebody successful.
I love being powerful and strong.
I love being powerful and strong.
It's my birthright.
It is my birthright.
Everyone in my family is just cheering me on.
Everybody in my family is woohoo, cheering me on.
All my friends are thrilled to see me shine.
All my friends and colleagues and neighbors, everybody's loving seeing me shining in my greatness and success.
Putting myself out there feels natural and easy.
Putting myself out there is easy and natural.
The more people who see what I'm doing,
the more people who see what I'm doing
in the world, the more they have a chance to experience all I have to offer.
The more opportunity they have to experience all I have to offer.
Thousands of people are seeing my work.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of people are seeing my work.
I love talking to large groups.
Oh, I love talking to large group, big conference halls. Love it.
About what I do.
All about what I do.
New technology is fun to learn.
New technology is fun and exciting to learn about.
I do great EFT work.
I do great, fabulous EFT work.
All my clients get amazing results.
All my clients get amazing results.
I'm an expert in my field.
I am an expert in my field.
I deserve all the attention I'm getting.
I deserve all the attention and acknowledgement I'm getting.
I deserve all of this wealth.
I deserve all of this wealth.
I deserve my full-time waitlist practice.
I deserve a full-time waitlist practice.
Working with so many people feels easy and effortless.
Working with lots of people is easy and effortless for me.
There's so much to do.
There is a lot to do.
And all the time in the world to do it.
But I have all the time in the world to do it.
I live a balanced and happy life at home and at work.
I live a balanced life at home, with home and my work.
Attaining my thriving EFT business.
Attaining my thriving EFT business.
Is easy and effortless.
Is easy and effortless. Where's my easy button? I want my easy button right now. Right now. That was easy.
Okay. So, if you're really tapping on these and you're stating them and you're allowing yourself to feel how that feels, I'm sure that if you are not at the level that you want to be in your business, you heard some resistance. You heard some blocks. This isn't about tapping on the positive. This is drumming up and rooting out and unmasking that saboteur. And then figuring out where that started. If you were saying, I love my imperfections and challenges, and you hear, are you kidding? Imperfection is wrong. Imperfection is bad. Then that came from somewhere. That is early programming. You've got to root that out and get it out of there so it stops sabotaging your business. Yes?
Yes. Yep. You want to find them. You want to go after them. You want to discover them. And like you said, root them out. That's what a warrior does. A warrior looks for where are those things that are stopping my freedom and my flow and my energy from happening, and look for them and find them. And this is a great way to do that.
Yep. All right. Awesome show today. Remember to keep on tapping, and we'll see you back here in a couple weeks with more tips and tapping on how to get to the next level in your EFT practice. Join us on tonight's call if you can. And, yeah, have an awesome day.
Great. Can't wait to see you, hear you, talk to you all next time. And, you know, it really is our commitment to see EFT practitioners thrive and shine and be not just brilliant practitioners, but brilliant practitioners with thriving practices, you know. So that's our vision for you. So thank you for joining us today.
And having
fun and playing while doing it. Please, never forget that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Alina, thanks. You did a great job today.
All right. I'll see you later, honey.
You
Bye.
have been listening to EFT MBA with Elena Frank and Dr. Craig Weiner. To get your free report on the 5 secrets to create a rockin' EFT practice and to learn more about the EFT MBA program, visit www.eftmba.com.